It's Thursday, the 28th of April, 2022. Welcome to the Fast Five by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Amyler.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, 5 stories, 5 minutes. Let's get into it. Story number 1, an interest rate hike next week in the middle of the election campaign is now, it seems, a real possibility after inflation surged to its highest level in 20 years during the March quarter.
The headline inflation rate jumped to 5.1% for the 12 months to the end of March, the biggest rise since the introduction of the GST back in 2000, when most prices went up by 10%. The cost of housing, fuel and education drove the increase. So too did food. The all-important underlying inflation, which the Reserve Bank considers when contemplating changes to the official cash rate, jumped to 3.7%. It is now well and truly above the band in which the Reserve Bank is comfortable. The figures were much higher than people expected. As a result, a bunch of economists have come out and said they expect the Reserve Bank to lift interest rates by 40 basis points on Tuesday next week. What that means is that variable home loan rates will start rising. Most market economists reckon that the official cash rate will be about 1.5% by the end of the year. That means you'll be paying about 4% on your variable home loan if that happens.
All right, story number 3, Sean. The election campaign and Labor has promised $5 billion in savings if elected.
Yes, it pulled out one of those old chestnuts. It said it will pull back the use of consultants by government and tackle tax evasion by multinationals. If elected on May 21, Labor will also conduct a waste audit into government spending. The climate war's got a run yesterday. National Senator Matt Canavan has pretty much been abandoned by his party. He said the government's net zero emissions target is dead. No one seems to agree with him. The Prime Minister was talking up the government's regional credentials and saying people in the country don't want to be derided by the Green Left. He said that a Morrison government would create 450,000 jobs in regional Australia by 2027. And of course, Michael, as you could imagine, the coalition was playing defence on the inflation numbers and the Labor spokespeople were playing attack.
Yep, makes sense. All right, story number 3, Sean. There are reports around today that James Packer is set to vote his 37% stake in Crown Resorts for the Blackstone takeover.
That would end a 20-year involvement with Crown for James Packer. Originally, the deadline for voting was yesterday, but that's been delayed a month while Blackstone gets through probity checks. Of course, the board of Crown has recommended the $9.8 billion bid, but Packer was always going to be kingmaker. He'll walk away with around $3.3 billion. Very tough decision for him. He used all his financial and political clout to get the 72-storey Barangaroo hotel, restaurant and apartment complex built in Sydney against some very strident opposition.
All right, story number 4, Sean. We love talking about property prices, partly because it's just been such an extraordinary ride over the last 18 months or so. But new figures now show that the pace of growth in house prices across the capital cities is 1/10 what it was late last year.
Yes, we knew house price growth was slowing, but new data from Property Group Domain shows just how much it slowed. In some capitals, Melbourne, Sydney and Canberra, house prices are static or falling, while in others, notably Brisbane and Adelaide, they're still growing pretty quickly. Overall, regional Australia is doing better than the capital cities. The median house price is now $1.07 million across the country and $1.6 million in Sydney. Incredible figures. The median unit price is $617,000.
Okay, last story. Story number 5. We've spoken plenty, Sean, about Elon Musk's bid for Twitter, but we haven't said much about how Tesla's share price has reacted. It fell 12% yesterday.
Yeah, that's worth about $125 billion US, or just a touch under the total market capitalisation of the Commonwealth Bank. Incredible. Tesla's market cap fell below $1 trillion to just over $900 billion as a result of the sell-off. Now, the main reason for the slump is that Musk is partly funding his takeover of Twitter using a $12.5 billion loan secured against his Tesla stake. That has heaped pressure on Tesla's stock, and shareholders aren't real happy.
No, they wouldn't be. All right, the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. There we go. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Thursday, the 28th of April, 2022. Remember to hit follow on the podcast. And if 5 minutes isn't enough, if you want something a bit longer, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed on your podcast platform. And also out every Thursday is our lighter weekly podcast called Safe Word by Fear and Greed. Search for that one too and make sure you hit follow on that. I'm Michael Thompson and that was the Fast Five by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.